people think I'm not going to be happy until.
Yeah, totally.
I'll let myself be happy once I look a certain way.
Yeah.
I'll let myself be happy once I make a certain amount of money.
Yep.
Once I get that dude. Once I get this. Except the problem is, you have to bring you with you when you get there.
Welcome to the new series, Cocktails and Conversation with Kat and Nat.
And we've decided to bring you all of these conversations with people that we like to have where there's a little bit of wisdom, always hilarity and hilaria.
Yes.
Some famous, some just cool, some drink, some don't drink, but there's always a conversation.
Cheers, join us.
Have you heard of us before we reached out to you?
Yeah, I have. I've seen your stuff a bunch of times.
How?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird, right?
Oh, maybe my wife.
Your wife?
Yeah,
Because
my
your
wife.
wife's a mom.
Yeah, my wife's a mom.
Yeah, you have two kids.
I do, and my wife when I was 5. Most people don't know that.
Pardon?
You what? You met her
Yeah.
when she was 5?
Yeah, we're the same age even though I live 20 years older. Yeah.
So you guys stayed in touch the entire time?
You started
Well, we
dating?
lived 2 streets away from each other. We dated in high school, and then we broke up a year or 2 when I was in college. But she's really the only serious girlfriend I ever had.
It's very.
I
and
don't
you
know.
still like each other.
Lots.
Love
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah, yeah. And if you saw her, you would think, oh, I probably trophy wifed her once I got rich. But no.
No, we saw her. She was a hottie.
Two things. I want to know how you got rich, and number 2, but I want to know just from a mom's perspective.
Can we just start quick today? Just like, can Ed tell our people
what do
who
they
he
do?
is?
Oh, who you
It's better
are?
you say it because you know it better.
What do you mean who I am?
Like, what do you do? Like, what do you do?
Lewis hates that question. Remember?
Oh, I don't care what he is.
What? Oh, he hated who you are?
No, what do you
What do you
do?
What do you do? Yeah, that's a hard answer, but
Same with us.
I built a bunch of businesses when I was really young, and that turned into speaking. So I did a lot of stage speaking. So I met, Tony Robbins when I was very young, and that speaking turned into like coaching of the executives there, which turned into coaching of athletes and entertainers and politicians. So I guess I'm an entrepreneur who speaks and coaches people. I guess is the best
That's
way to say
great.
it.
That's easy. That's
Yeah.
simple to
That's
understand.
really easy to understand.
Thank you.
And then now, because of social media, you can reach the masses.
Yeah, which I didn't want to do. The cool thing was I was private, except for the speaking. So if you go back and look, I get the chance to speak to pretty large audiences.
We've seen.
Like 40, 50,000 or whatever.
No big deal.
Well,
How do you become a good speaker? Is that just like something you were born with?
no, it was my biggest fear in my life. So what happened was I went to a seminar where it was my phobia,
Yeah.
and they made you get up on the stage and do it, right? Like terrified.
Yeah.
They're like, well, just pick a topic you're passionate about. I'm like, okay, baseball. And I talked about baseball for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I get off the stage, and that person was Tony.
Yeah.
And I get called backstage. He goes, hey, you're really good at this, actually. You have a really good voice for it.
You do.
You have got great
Yeah.
sound.
That's the only thing I got going. I got that click in.
So I have a question for you because
Yeah.
you're the second person, and we've only done a few of you. Lewis and actually Colton said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They did what they feared the most.
Yeah.
How do you do what you feared? Like, how do you take that? Because we work with a lot of moms.
Yes.
And we have a business podcast on top of this because we have a 7-figure company as 2 stay-at-home moms, which
That's
blows our
awesome.
with the phone, which blows our mind.
So awesome. I
We
love
don't
it.
bring that home yet. We're working on it, but
Okay.
you have to pay your people and the things.
I
and,
get it. Trust me.
But
I know that.
everyone's asking like, how the fuck do you step out of that fear? How the fuck do you do that?
Yeah.
Because it's easier. It's a lot easier not to.
And I
It's
think
a lot
it's
easier
easier
not to.
for men too because you're taught.
Do you?
Yeah, 100. If you look at men and women and the risk-taking men versus women take, it's much more significant.
Well,
in men.
one of the reasons is women, if they take a risk and fail, usually catch more heat for it too, right? Like
Yeah.
a man, it's like, well, he was bold and noble and tried. And sometimes when a woman does, it's like, oh, she's crazy, right? Which is ridiculous, but it's the case. Probably, and my following, by the way, is like 65, 35 women over men.
Right.
They follow my stuff, which is sort of interesting. But the way you do it, to answer your question, number one, you better know that on the other side of that fear is some kind of gift. And I don't mean that like in a foofy way. I mean like legitimately the gift could be someone you'll meet, a fear you've overcome, a talent or gift you didn't know you had will be revealed to you. For me, most of the stuff I've done that I've been afraid of, mainly the public speaking thing, on the other side is probably my greatest gift,
Right.
is my ability to communicate, right? I had no idea that existed. So now I kind of like stepping into those things for this reason. The happiest people, ironically, deal with the most uncertainty.
Say that again. The happiest people have the most uncertainty.
They do.
and
They're
deal-
willing to deal with. I was watching YouTube today. You got like the award show tonight, 2 podcasts. You were partying last night. You had interviews, right? You're like, you're doing your deal. That's when you're the most happy, is when you're a little bit out of control.
Before I walked in here, I'm like, I love this feeling. We love this feeling.
You know why? Because it's what you had when you were young. When you were a little kid, you were learning new things and experiencing new stuff every single second of every single day. And the older you get, you move away from those things. And what you actually seek is like certainty and stability and just predictability, and that's death. Like the odd thing is the very thing most people chase is the thing that will make them the most unhappy. That's why you see so many rich people that are unhappy. They got to where they don't have to do anything in their mind anymore, and they get bored and start doing self-destructive things. That's why when you watch an athlete, we're talking athletes, when they retire, that transition from like, I got nothing to do all day long now. They're more and more unhappy. So I've just wired myself that like uncertainty is happiness, uncertainty is experience. So fear is where all the uncertainty is. So I got to go there or I'm bored.
And that's what when people sometimes ask us like, what's your favorite part about what you do? And I'm like, I think it's that we get to go and meet new people and learn from people. Because if we weren't doing this, we would have stayed at home. We would have been in Toronto with our families doing something safe. But we get the opportunity to meet people like you and then learn from them. And then we learn, which is exciting. It's not just staying stagnant.
The other thing you do that's super cool, I just want to tell you that I like, is like you make me think I could do it too.
Yeah.
In other words, I don't, and I try to do that with my stuff too. I don't want people thinking I'm some kind of prodigy or expert or guru or like,
I'm not above you.
Right, not in the least. Like I'm not, in fact, if you meet anybody in like my space, which is like personal development or self-help or whatever, usually someone like me like had to figure this shit out to be functional, not like successful, functional.
Right.
So but what happens, I got addicted to it. I'm like, oh, that's how your mind works. That's how the brain works. Those are like principles that were, and that's what led to like wealth and whatever other people would call success or whatever. It was like I had to learn to like just live with myself, like just like me a little bit.
You know what about liking yourself? One of your things you say like don't compare.
Yeah.
Okay, and we find as mothers, as business owners, and you know, there's always going to be other women. It's like when you say don't compare to others and don't live in comparison. How do you teach someone to not, because we try to tell people like just be you, love yourself.
We said
you're special.
We said if you're chasing trying to be someone all the time, like the only way you're gonna do is by eating them and then like actually diving into their body.
Yes.
And then but you're still them, you're not you. So if you're trying to, what are you gonna accomplish by what are you nothing?
Zero.
Then how do you be like, I'm cool, I'm cool.
And we can give this advice, but how do you get people to understand it?
So I do think it is more prevalent with women. I do agree with you on that. I do. I don't think that many things are like gender specific, but this is. Men do it for sure, but women do it. And sometimes I think, honestly, like I'm a pretty fit dude. Usually dudes are like, hey man, you're looking good.
Yeah.
You know, but oftentimes when it's reversed, it's like, she probably doesn't eat or blah, blah, blah. Like, it's a comparison thing. Here's what I think about that, because I've worked with lots of people on it. I think comparing yourself to other people is the symptom. I think the disease is you don't like yourself. And so the reason you don't like yourself, because you don't like yourself, you're constantly looking outside yourself to almost divert attention, right? But how do I like myself more? It's really not that hard. Like the reason I think the two of you are pretty happy right now, and I'm watching this happen, self-confidence is the process. Like just keep promises you make to yourself. When I meet someone who's not confident, because I used to not be,
right?
What did that dude have, the old me who didn't like him, who compared himself all the time to other people? I didn't keep promises I made to myself. I didn't get up when I said I was going to. I didn't work out when I said I was going to. I didn't eat a certain way. I didn't in my business make a cup of coffee.
Crazy to say that.
Yeah.
And it's so like we did a post recently where we said like as women stop dressing for who you should be, who you think you are, and who you want to be, dress for who you are.
Yes.
Go to the mall and get what you like today, what fits you today,
yes.
not what you should be in 2 months
100%.
when you finish that. But it's so basic.
100%. It is so basic. But like I think everyone would just stop and listen to that. You could start to turn around your happiness level, because here's the other thing. I'm just speaking in the other room. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
we don't give a fuck.
Okay,
We're doing it all.
So Teddy Mellencamp, who
Yeah.
has a coaching program. It's all women that were in there,
Right.
and I was in there. I'm the only dude, and we were talking about this very topic. And one of the things that I think you have to do is there has to become a point where you just decide, like everything you think you want, like a new clothes or travel or whatever. Here's what every human being wants. Here's what it is. You ready? I just want to be happier.
I know.
Yeah,
People just want to be happier. So people think, well, if I get that private jet, I'll be happier. If I can get that man, I'll be happier. If I get that woman, if I get those shoes, which is all good, but what you really want, you have to break down. You will never get what you really want if you're not clear on what it is. And what you really want is to be happier.
Yeah.
That's what every human wants. Now, you may find that through losing weight. You may find that through shopping. You may find that through travel. But if you don't get clear, what I really want to be is happier. That's what I really want. I want to be more blissful. And I teach something called blissful dissatisfaction, which is that you can, people think, I'm not going to be happy until.
Yeah, totally.
I'll let myself be happy once I look a certain way.
Yeah.
I'll let myself be happy once I make a certain amount of money.
Yep.
Once I get that dude. Once I get this. Except the problem is, you have to bring you with you when you get there. And the other people think, well, and if I let myself be happy now, I'll lose all my drive. You know?
I think it's also fear of, I think people are afraid to be happy because they're afraid of losing something, like the other shoe's gonna drop. So
Yes.
if I stay in a constant state of miserableness, and we call them like tenors, because they go from 0 to 10 over like a glass breaking, like the fucking glass in the cupboard. So, like they want to, when
They feel safe in that place.
in the place of negativity, so everyone else can be like, it's okay, like,
You're so right.
you
like
know,
they don't
I
feel
feel
like
so
they deserve
right.
happiness.
They don't think they deserve it, right?
and they're scared of it.
You're right. And by the way, people do think, if I'll just not expect anything. I'll just kind of keep things as glassed over, almost like they just kind of medicate their life in the middle. And then when you get to the end of it, you're going to really regret that. You're going to regret it. Like people ask me, why are you all driven or whatever?
Or whatever.
You know, like, because most people are like, I don't even get why are you still working or whatever it might
Right.
be. The ladies in there ask me that. And I have this really, I'm a Christian, but it doesn't matter what your faith is. It's not my business. But I believe that when you die, God's going to go, hey, well done, good and faithful servant. But I have this feeling, and it drives my life. Like, you might think I'm wacky, but I think he's going to introduce me to the man I was capable of being, I was born to be. I think he's going to introduce you to the woman you were born to be someday. I think you're going to meet her.
See,
Well, let's hope it's a good match. We've lived up to her.
we have a different. I have a different philosophy.
Yeah.
Mine is that, like, daily you can impact people
Yes.
who you meet, and the people, the way you make people feel daily,
Yep.
or the feelings you get back, right? So if I'm
100%.
making people feel great, so
Yep.
rather than looking at what's gonna be like, I was a social worker before this, and I think a lot of people sometimes use religion to make themselves feel better
No,
about
no.
what they were doing.
That's
And
fair.
I'm a good person because I went to church.
Oh,
and,
okay.
and I'm like, well, we execute daily
Yep.
to help people feel.
I think we have the same philosophy.
Right.
I think I meet that dude by every day choosing to pursue the better version of me.
Right.
So like, I don't get there by going, please let me get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
I get there by
Accountability
every,
daily.
every single day, like, hey, stepping towards that dude, so that when I meet him, to me, heaven would be, hey, we're identical twins. I've been chasing you all my life.
Oh,
He goes, hey, you caught me, man. You had the memories, the experiences, the moments. You made the difference you were supposed to make. Hell would be, I meet that dude. I didn't see the places, meet the people, help the people, have the moments.
I
That's
didn't
hell.
recognize
It's
that
like
man.
Scrooge
That's
when
the
you
hell.
go through who you could have been, who you were, what
Yeah.
path you would take. I mean, we have such a woman audience, and I say this lightly because often the men don't support the women, so the women are full-time working, full-time moms, making the money and help managing the children, right? All of it.
Unreal, yes.
Yeah, it's they're superheroes, and then you have the single moms on top of that. But for the often women say, I want to start something. We'll just talk entrepreneurship for a second.
Okay.
But my husband doesn't support me in what I'm doing. Like, how do you find yourself the confidence to have that conversation with him? Because I feel like you're big in relationships. Do
I
you
am.
agree? Like,
Yeah.
your partner should be an equal. Like,
100%.
how do you break through that and
That
find your
is
happiness?
the number one question that I get. For
Shut
sure.
up, my husband doesn't support me.
Oh, big time. Yeah, 100%. That's the number one question that I get. And you know, it's interesting. I think that that's something that you need to evaluate in your relationship. And what I mean by it is, my wife hasn't always believed in the businesses that I was doing. Okay, she's not. Like, there's been lots of times she's like, I don't think it's going to work, or you shouldn't do it, or whatever. But she's always believed in me.
Yeah.
And we've had to have that conversation. Like, a couple times she questioned me. I said, well, okay, forget that you don't believe in the business. Do you believe in me? Do you believe in me?
Why don't you think she believed in, like, what was she afraid of that?
You want to really know?
Yes.
Okay, here's why they're really not supporting you. Are you ready? And it's going to be hard to believe. You ready? They think you're going to leave them.
Oh, I see. I also think
They believe you're going to leave them. Now, by the way, that could be literally or figuratively. They don't know this, but when he's not supporting what you're doing, this version of you may be leaving him.
You
there
know,
may be a more
Yeah,
confident,
because this
more
new
bold.
version of you isn't the person that
You
you got
got
married
it.
to, so maybe this person isn't going to
Yeah,
want
like,
to be here anymore.
wait, where'd this come from? When we met, you weren't starting some business. Well, wait a minute, I was supposed to be the exact person when I was 25 or 35 or 45. So in his mind, this one that I love, she's going to leave me and change. Now, And sometimes it's the extreme of she will eventually leave me physically if she's successful or meets more people or interacts with people, sees how inadequate I am, meets some other. But they are literally thinking this person in front of them is leaving. Now you may physically up and leave, or you may just physically change.
Mm-hmm.
But their fear, just so you know, when he's not supporting you, here's what it is. He's afraid. He is afraid. It is fear speaking in him. How you fix it is very difficult. For me, you have to have that frank conversation at some point of, do you believe in me? Do you love me and believe in me?
It's so funny you say this because we say to our husbands, which they don't necessarily take as compliments, we don't need you, we choose you,
Mm-hmm.
which is very different than, like, I think a lot of men would be more comfortable if we needed them than if we chose them.
Men love to save the day, right? Men love being the savior, the protector, all that other stuff. It's funny, my wife's never said that, but I definitely believe that.
Yeah, I choose you.
You know,
I don't
but
need you.
we have heard a bunch of examples of women who've become successful entrepreneurs, and I believe that their husbands were too scared and couldn't acknowledge that, and they actually have left.
Of course.
And apparently it happens often.
Yeah.
But it's because I guess
They can't support them.
they were too
Well,
afraid.
think about it. If someone didn't support you when it was really going bad, and then they win and they're kind of riding your coattails, you're like, motherfucker, I remember what you said. Right?
Yeah, I remember
there's
what
an
you
element of
said.
that, yeah.
Did you go through did you go through something to make you want to change, or is it just something that you chose to do?
You mean the businesses that I was in?
Just like what?
I went totally broke.
With a family or no?
With a wife, but not kids yet. We didn't have our kids when I went totally broke, but I went totally broke. Like, I went broke where we lost our house. I lost a home. Remember then after that, we were newlyweds too, and I walked out one day, Christiana had to get a job, my wife, because my business was doing so bad. We were in the business
What
together.
did she do?
She went and was an assistant at a credit repair place. But she goes out one morning to work and she's like, you're not going to believe this. Someone stole the car. I'm like, oh my God. Which was worse because it wasn't stolen. It was repoed. And then 3 days after that, we had our power turned off. And then the worst thing that's ever happened is we had our water turned off. You can get everything turned off. When you have water, you can't cook, you can't bathe. And so I'm a newlywed. My wife and I are walking down the apartment.
Did you have a
moved
lot of
into.
money before?
I had done okay. No, not like millions, but like when I was in my 20s, which was a million years ago, I was making $250,000 a year.
So how did you lose it all? From risky business choices?
No, from getting stupid and arrogant and thinking I had made it and spending too much money and not working as hard as I once did, like all kinds of mistakes. But it got to the point where we were just married and we would have to walk down the apartment stairs in the freezing cold every morning. We would shower in the outdoor pool shower. I just hold a towel up and let her shower.
How long did that go on for?
A month. It was embarrassing. It was horrible. And then you have to go out and pretend you're successful in
Okay,
business,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It was like I'm living a nightmare. I'm trying to sell this dream to people. It was just horrific. It was a month of no water. But we went like 3 months with no power. But I was like grateful we had water eventually.
And then what did you like? Then what?
This is where like you learn from people. Like she kept supporting me. She had some real conversations. Like, how come I'm going out to work and you're still here in the morning? Let's get this going. Let's move. Let's get it going. And I finally turned it around. There was a kind of a come to Jesus moment for me, with me, where I'm like, this is either going to go left or right in my life, right? Like I'm either going to turn this around or I'm going to be one average, ordinary dude. And I just went crazy for about 5 years of just crazy psycho work.
Like 23 hours,
Like just crazy. Like
Where
that's
is
probably
that?
why I look older than I am. Seriously. I think one of the reasons I look older than them, my 20s and early 30s, I just was a nut. Like I wanted to win. I wanted to win.
Are you afraid to lose it all now?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my biggest fears is being broke.
I was gonna ask what your biggest fear is.
One of them, death, is a fear, right?
You're afraid of death?
Sure. I mean, I don't want to die yet. I think I know where I'm going, but I don't want to die. I'm afraid of dying.
You're
Sure.
afraid of it.
People say, "No, I'm not afraid of dying at all." Really? Really? You're not afraid? Someone put a gun to your head right now. You wouldn't be afraid. Of course, I'd be afraid. So yeah.
It definitely makes
But
you scared of the pain.
You know what I'm most afraid of, honestly? Like, I'm afraid of dying. That's not my biggest fear. I'm afraid of going broke, but that's not my biggest fear. Honestly, is that I'll die someday and not have the life I could have had. Like, I have not.
Regret. You don't want to have
I
regret.
hate that idea.
Do you have regret now?
Yeah, I have regrets.
You do?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Like major ones or like?
No, yeah. I wish that when my kids were little, I was more present. If I could go back, if I'm being really honest, my wife was constantly going, remember when Max, remember when Bella?
How old are the kids now?
My son's 18 and my daughter's 16. Any lessons to the parents, the moms
Yes,
out there?
please.
You got one of those dads that's distant and working all the time, and you need to wake his ass up or
I
have a
don't
mission to
think you
make.
can.
Well,
I think some mums, because we say that often, like guilt and feeling like working mom guilt is sometimes a privilege because a lot of people don't have a choice, right? They are working so much just to get their kids fed. But you gave them something, and we come from single moms, and my mom would work constantly. But I say she taught us how to work hard without. So you probably gave them lessons you didn't even realize.
I take credit for that. I do. They know hard work pays off, and they've had great. But you know what? I could have done more. I could have still, when I got there, been better about little things. Like now I do it. I teach it. Like when I get home, my phone stays in the car for an hour. I couldn't resist the temptation of the emergencies on there.
We're the same. We're because the thing, when you're trying to build a business, you're like, fuck.
All the time.
All the time.
But I think your kids can you can come back and you can make up for it. And I think they really will see that.
And I have a great relationship with my kids. And the other thing that's cool is my wife did stay home eventually once we had babies because that was what she wanted. And so I did afford the family to have that. Their mom was there every day after school. You know, we've never had, and there's nothing wrong with it, but we've raised our children. You know, we've not had help doing it or anything like that. So there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe we should have had help. We've probably been better at it. But that's my regret. I wasn't there enough when they were little.
Oh gosh, I feel like so many parents have to end up saying that.
I don't feel like you because you can't get it back.
I know, it's gone.
But you get grandchildren maybe.
And that would be a different deal with me. I promise you. For me, because everyone wants all this material stuff, houses and jets, and I'm blessed that I have all that. Trust me, and all that's wonderful. I want you to have it. Your family and your close friends, that is the most precious thing in the world.
But did you have a great mom?
World class.
And would you have ever changed her?
No.
But and I bet she sits there and wishes she had done things differently too.
You think so?
Like every mom.
Do they? So this is normal? What I'm saying?
It is normal.
No one's ever asked me that. Ever on a million shows, no one's ever asked me if I have regrets.
Really?
Never asked me that before, and that's definitely a regret.
We always tell moms, especially, think about your relationship with your mom, no matter what it was. 98% of them would have never changed mom. Actually, 99.9 would never say, I wish I had a different mom. No matter
way. I love my
mom.
But that's the thing, and same with your dad.
And my dad, too. My dad was an alcoholic, really bad alcoholic. Now he's sober, but, 100% I'll never change my dad.
And so your kids are saying the same thing. Even though you and a lot of moms, remember, go home and beat themselves up. This is why I think talking to people outside of the mom world is sort of important, because they go home and I failed, because their expectations are I should be home all day, I should work all day, and then I should build quinoa pancakes, and then I should also make sure that I'm eye level and present they do, and then they don't, and then they go to bed and they're like, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up, have coffee, meditate, work,
You're so okay, I gotta tell you. So my show, I interviewed achievers, right? And probably half women, half men. And people ask me all the time, what do they have in common? Because when I started the show, I wanted to know. I called it Max Out. What does Stephanie McMahon, who runs the WWE, and Dierks Bentley, and Terrell Owens, the football player, all have in common? What do these people have in common? Or some $1 million executive? And I was like, it's probably hard work or connections or brains. It's going to surprise you. The thing they have most in common, not all of them, but most in common, is a little bit of depression.
Shut up.
A little bit of depression. Yeah.
Teddy
Mellencamp was in the other room. I was just saying this to the ladies, and Teddy said, yep, and she's been on my show.
But why?
Here's why I think achievers in general, and women are more prone to this too, see what they're capable of, and this is where they are. And there's this gap between what they know they can do and where they are, and they never quite match it. And I think that's true for achievers. It's probably a healthy thing to get you to achieve, but it's not a healthy thing to get you happy. And I have it too, where I'm like, I'm not measuring up as a dad, or I could do better in business, or I could be in better shape. So it's not just a gender thing, but I think in general, there's more pressure on women because their responsibilities are greater. They are in charge of the kids. We are our playmates.
It's a mental load that
it's children. It's the money. It's the cooking. It's laundry. It's the emotional well-being of their children.
Forms, play dates. Am I putting them in the right things?
It's amazing, right? And I think they're just. I think for most people, which should make you feel okay. I'm telling you, some of the most successful people in the world that have been on my show, privately or on my show, have had that form of a little bit I call depression.
It's so funny you said we had a therapist on, and we were talking about anxiety and depression in teens and tweens, and she's like, well, shit, they probably should. They're getting hair on places they didn't know.
Yeah.
They're getting
Yeah.
things that are growing.
Yeah.
They like people that maybe are the same sex or not. Of course they're fucking anxious and depressed.
And if
Would
you're
you
not, maybe there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Right, you should have some of that. It's called being alive.
Yeah.
We don't have it, which is very odd, but I will tell you, we come from two kind of fucked up backgrounds. And I don't mean fucked up in a bad way, I just mean I dropped out of high school, she didn't make it through another school, we were we never fit the mainstream expectations. So when you learn that you don't fit somewhere and you have to find your other path, you begin to appreciate, you begin to get grateful for finding the happiness in a day rather than the thing.
I love that.
Yeah, so we wake up
Whoa.
and we're like, life is fucking amazing, and then everything else is, they think we're on drugs or we're drunk.
I know. I can tell you what I love. So as you know, I'm a fan of your content. I'm probably not the demo either, right?
We have everybody, literally everybody.
It's weird because sometimes people think I have a demo too. They think it's probably like a dude who works out.
We're humans. We connect on humans.
But it's your energy. Even when I just met you, like I feed off energy on people, right? And like you have this amazing energy that like pulls me in, and it's loving and comfortable and hilarious, right? Like it's not judgmental in any way. And I wonder if that's part of your deal too. Like you bring a grateful type energy. Like I like when you guys asked, I was like, yes, my office.
I was gonna ask, why did you say yes? I was curious why you said yes.
I wanted to meet you. And by the way, it's really cool because you're what I was hoping. You're how you are. No, like
online is who we are.
Yeah, me too. Right?
Yeah,
it surprised me. Like, oh, you are kind of nice, and you're like patient and a pretty good dude. And I'm like,
it is so disappointing when you
Isn't
see
it
something
horrible?
online and then you meet them and you're like,
Oh my
why
God.
is it so flat?
Yes. Damn.
Well,
man.
especially because we have built so much of our businesses online through social media, and that's where we meet people and see other personalities.
Yeah.
So when you go to meet them in person, it's not always what it seems.
Kim, I'm gonna have one more question because I know you're going on a plane to where?
Salt Lake City.
To do what?
Speak.
Always speaking.
Well, no, I'm gonna have some cigars and scotch tonight with some dudes, but before that, I'm speaking.
Is your wife going with you?
She is.
And she goes everywhere with you?
She doesn't go everywhere because we have teenagers.
Yeah.
Right.
But-
Don't leave them
Kids, God, I
alone.
forgot, we have 7 of them between the two of us,
Oh
so there
my
we
God.
go.
So,
Yep.
so you know, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
when it's a one-dater, she just went on a 4-dayer with me, and she was like dying to get back after 2 days. She still cries when we leave, so it's weird.
No.
She still cries when we leave, but she is going tonight.
Like I said, a lot of moms are sitting there lost, confused, and we say that a lot of women, when they become moms, society shelves them as like, that was great, you're a mom now,
Yeah.
and they're like, how do I figure out what's next, or how do I figure out who I am, it's like they lose their identity and they don't know how to get out of that and find that. That's like our number one question.
Yeah, and I also want to say on that side, that's why I feel like in a lot of meetings when we meet with like possible opportunities, I always like to say, I know you look at us and you know we're moms, and I know we have 7 kids, but I want you to know that we're not tired and we have so much more space for more. Don't just be like, you guys must be.
And we say we do
overwhelmed.
what everybody else does, but we keep people alive behind the scenes, right? So we have to do what you do, we have to do what everybody else does, but then we have all these people we take care of. So is there any action-oriented plan that people can do to feel maybe a little better about themselves or where they're at, or anything that you'd be like, here is my wisdom of the moment?
Yeah, by the way, I hate hearing that, by the way.
I know.
It breaks my heart. Something happened to me when we had kids that changed, because I know what it's like not to appreciate all the things that a mom or a woman goes through. For some reason we had kids, and my wife stayed home raising our kids. For some reason, then when I meet women who were doing that and also had a career, I don't know what happened. I just went, my God, like how in the world are you pulling this off, right? So I just have tremendous, I think you can feel it, like sincere, like real, true, like mind-blowing, blows my mind, admiration. Yeah, there's a way that you can feel better. There's a lot of different things that you can do, but one of the things that I would tell you to do is to give yourself some space. So can you find yourself 20 minutes, 30 minutes for you time all the time? So like for my wife, it's reading. Like, believe it or not, like her thing that feeds her, she loves to read. I don't get it. I don't do a lot of that.
Totally.
But it's like something that she loves, that feeds her, is her passion for reading. And that also to know that this is just a season of your life, and that not always are you going to be in this situation where your babies are this age or this time. And you know what?
That scares a lot of them though, because
what's going to be next?
Well, we're bred to have, a lot of women
Yeah.
are bred to only be, you're a mom and then you're like, an athlete.
Yeah.
You get that, and then you've retired. Like, fuck, no, I have these
Right.
kids, but now what?
Right, and that's because your identity happens with athletes all the time. That's why
Yeah.
they come see me, because your identity shouldn't be tied up in what you do. Your identity needs to be connected to who you are. And as long as your identity is tied up as I'm a mom, right? That's what you do. That's not who you are, right? What you are is love, kindness, servitude. And I'd start to ask yourself, what are some of my passions? How do I know what I'm passionate about? I'm only passionate about my kids.
Yeah.
That's a normal question, right?
Totally.
Here's a key. It's going to surprise you. Who do you admire? Just think about who you admire for a minute, okay? I don't care who they are. It could be Oprah Winfrey. It could be your own mother. It could be whoever it is. Who do you admire? And when you look at that person, what are some of their real gifts? What are their gifts? What do you admire about them? Like, my hero was Martin Luther King, okay? Why did I admire him? He's black, I'm white. He's from the 60s, I'm from the 80s and 90s. Like, what is it about this man? He's from the South, I grew up in California, right? What I admired about him was a few things. One, he dedicated his life to helping other people. I admired his ability to speak, right? So what happens is, when you find somebody you admire, they have gifts they use in a different way that you see within you. So if you really thought, I admire so-and-so, what is it that you admire about it? It's because they have a gift or two that you know intuitively you also have.
Or you want?
Yes, and if you would be really intentional about why you admire them. It's not because they're rich, it's not because they're beautiful. Maybe you admire J-Lo because of her longevity, or you admire her because she's done many different things, or she's a mom. And if you start to look at who you admire and why you admire them, you're going to find that there are things in you that are in them, and you can build from that. That's something that'll give you an idea of what your passions and
And we
gifts
try
are.
to tell them, your passion doesn't always have to be income driven. Start with something, like if your husband's like, it doesn't bring any money, why are you doing this? It could be fueling you.
I have a whole show on that. I so agree with you.
To be like, to feel alive,
Yeah.
to feel like you're a human, like do it because you feel good about yourself.
100 million
rather than
percent.
it brings you X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, you may do something to actually earn money, and the other thing's going to be your passion.
Yeah.
That
And
happens
you
all
know
the time.
that thing that you were saying about like finding the person that you admire. I think sometimes if it's more in a negative, it's like, I'm so jealous of that person. Although I'm obsessed with like looking at them and watching everything they do, you take a negative when you should admire them and find those things instead of just being like, I'll never be like them.
So I just interviewed, perfect example, I interviewed Trump's economic advisor and then Obama's the next week, and I know both men, right? And both of them asked me when I was done, what did I admire about both of them? I'm not going to tell you what my politics are. One of them, it was hard for me to find something that I admired. But both of them, you know what, are really driven men. Both of them are people who have carved a niche out in the world that's pretty damn remarkable for themselves, right? In each of those people, I really am an admirer of President Obama, just as somebody that I looked at as a really good leader and moved people. But what I admired about him was his kindness. I don't know that I agree with all his policies, but I can have kindness. I mean, I have it on his level. And so I looked at his humility, I thought he showed some form of humility, right? I respect Trump's intensity, and like, he's going to stand for whatever he stands for, whether you agree with anything or not.
Right, you're looking at characteristics rather than what
I'm looking at those things in them that I might think I have in me in a different way. I manifest them a different way. So if you're sitting there going, God, I don't know what's good about me. I don't know what's good.
Yeah.
So many people do.
Yes.
It's so
Right.
sad.
Right. Who do you admire? Not hero worship.
No.
Why do you admire her? Someone says, I admire Ellen. What do you admire? She makes people feel good.
Yeah.
That's what you admire.
Yeah.
It's not that she dances good or she's famous. You admire that she seems to be herself. She's comfortable in her own skin. Those could be gifts of yours. She makes people laugh. She makes people feel good. So really get clear on what you admire about the people, and you'll see those gifts are in you.
That's a really good, like,
Yeah.
2-day
Yeah.
hands-on
I can do
thing
that.
you can do.
Are you ever tired?
Yes.
You do get tired.
I do.
Do you sleep well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do sleep well.
Yeah,
Like-
people ask us if we're tired. Like, oh, you have great sleep. So
Yeah. Oh, I sleep, but do I get tired? Yeah. I mean, I work. I speak in 8 cities the next 10 days. So there'll be a
you're
point
like
where,
us.
yeah, there'll be a point where I'm, gonna go, hey, I need some caffeine or something here.
Yeah, caffeine, okay.
Yeah. Do you drink?
I do drink.
You do
Scotch.
alcohol.
Do I drink alcohol?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. I was supposed to do. So do
Yeah.
we.
Very relatable.
What's your
Very
favorite drink?
Tequila.
Me too. Where are the fucking shots?
Where I actually kind of thought they were
Well,
gonna be there.
we
I did.
at our hotel we have a whole bar, but we came
I
here
saw that.
literally bars and bars, and I was like, shit. But a lot of these smart people don't
Feel a little
drink.
cheated.
Me too.
Tequila's great, right? Because it's
Clean.
the only alcohol bottle that is like, it has like the agave has an upper instead of a downer. So
Didn't know that.
yeah, it's like
I say I never get sick. I'm just constantly poisoning the poison, but maybe it's the agave that keeps me up.
Yeah, I have one more question. Have you always been internally optimistic, or have you had to work on that?
Had to really work on that.
Shut up.
Big time. Yeah, I come from a kind of skeptical, negative-ish. I love my family, but
No,
you know what I mean?
everyone's got a thing.
No. Definitely have to work on that.
Like,
Still have to work
do you
on
have
that.
to wake up and think?
I have to be intentional. I'm pretty habitual with it now, but yeah, you leave me to my own devices, I'll be like, that dude, this, you know, absolutely.
You can get negative.
100%, absolutely.
do you have 3 little sisters or 3 big sisters?
3 little sisters, I'm the oldest boy.
There has to be something about having 3 younger sisters that have shaped a part of who you are.
Yeah, because my dad was kind of doing his thing, so I was at home with mom and my 3 sisters,
It's
right?
a lot of women.
A lot of women. Yeah, I think it's that I think that I kind of am more comfortable being around women, to be honest with you. I think there's like masculine and feminine energy. I love feminine energy. I love being around people that.
You're comfortable with women and not in a creepy way.
Oh no, I don't think it's
No,
creepy.
I'm saying no.
I know, women don't feel
Some-
creepy.
some- but
I'm trying to be creepy.
It's a little creepy.
No,
to it, but, I'm not gonna lie.
some men only know how to be creepy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They look at you like and you're like, I can't look at you like what, like it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't think I have almost any of that.
You're not a creep at all.
Yeah, because people kind of know how into my wife I am, and I'm pretty bold about that. So no, but like I think what I learned from my.
We have strippers that travel with us.
Do you?
Yeah, we do. And
Of course we do.
And I have to tell
Male.
you,
Male or female?
male,
Male.
and they're the same ones, and they've taught me so much about life. I'm not they're some of our favorite people.
They are.
And they have had so much life hardship. Like they fucking wake up
Like
with
they say, nobody set out to be a stripper, but here I am, and this
And
is
Are
why.
you being serious right now?
Dead
Yeah.
serious.
Oh my God.
And they're
Yeah.
optimistic and happy and hardworking
And grateful.
and like just pleasure to be around and literally
I know.
someone that I like. We see them and they are coming our like they're not separate of us. They are part of our
Part of the
team. We
team.
take them for dinner. Like and our husbands have all met them. Our kids have met. Like they're
That's awesome.
Yeah.
they're men who have, in my opinion, survived more than any person has probably had to survive in their entire lives with smiles on. Yet remarkable people.
And we never knew that that's what we were going to find when we hired a bunch of strippers.
They
to
have
be part
taught
of
me
our show.
more in life than most people have. Yeah, for real. And I'm not. I know
It's
we're blowing
juicy.
your mind right now,
You
but
are.
yeah, they are. We'll call them randomly into our lives with them. Like, girl,
They're
like
nice guys, and we got some good ones.
genuinely, intentionally happy.
That's wonderful to hear. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And the last thing I'm going to sum up, because we've now interviewed a bunch of people, a lot of people have things they have gone through that people would be shameful of, right? Like being broke and having no money, and then they carry that rather than being like, yeah, it happened, but here, fucking,
Right.
you resilience through it. I think so many moms feel shameful about that they're not enough, they aren't who they are, they're like, I could be better, I should look like her. But fuck no.
No.
Just makes you better. The more you go through, the better you are.
I said a post on that yesterday, like this sounds cheesy, but whatever the test is you're going through, someday can be your testimony to people. It's really like
It's true.
I think the reason I connect with entrepreneurs is I've been broke. You know, and the reason that I can
Did you
maybe-
share it when you were broke? No, you didn't. You pretended because
I didn't tell people immediately, no, I was ashamed of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
no.
and I didn't tell people that I came from a kind of dysfunctional family either for years because I was ashamed of that.
Yeah.
And, you know, so no, I've had lots of things in my life, and I've behaved in shameful ways before too, right? So there's all kinds of stuff in my life that, you know, but I'm kind of transparent about that stuff because I think, and then like I was super insecure, super shy, super low confidence. So
I mean, weren't we all, right?
No,
I think
really? Not everyone was shy.
you weren't ever shy.
No, I was
Yeah.
like,
Like we
horribly
used to
shy.
do drugs on the front lawn of our high school,
You
and
did?
that's how we would leave, and I dealt it to my family for a while.
Wow.
We were not, we were very, we were not.
I love you too.
Our families were busy.
Yeah,
But
very.
I think you guys are. I think you make a difference. Like I really like. It's entertaining as hell and funny, but like I think that there's a lot of people who get hope from you.
And that's what
strength
keeps us
from
going.
you. Hope, like strength and comfort from you. Never mind the laughter. So like,
I'll tell you our biggest accomplishment. I'm just gonna talk about us for a minute.
Yeah.
Our biggest accomplishment is doctors have prescribed us to their patients.
Postpartum, yeah.
Which for us is like,
Oh my
we
God.
take that to the most, you know,
Wow.
or some people have, their parents were like, they were
Well, keep letting me know how I
suicide.
can help. Like,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
This was just fucking
This was
amazing
awesome.
and
Thank you so
fun
much for
and
taking the time.
Oh,
like-
man, I'm honored. I'm blessed. us to be here.
No, we are so thankful, and shit, that was amazing. You're gonna help a lot of people with that conversation.
Cool.
I appreciate that.
Can you tell everybody where to find you if they
Yeah, you
If
go-
they don't know who he
Well,
is.
now they're definitely intrigued if they didn't already.
Go to Instagram, Ed Mylett, EdMylett, or YouTube, or iTunes for my podcast.
What's on YouTube?
I have all my content, all my interviews, my personal content on relationships and life and business.
And you have a book?
I do, maxoutbook.com.
Awesome.
I think it might be free right now. I think we're giving it away, or it's like $7 or something.
Free. Basic.
Anything under $20 is
All
free.
my stuff's free. I don't charge for anything.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have one more theory before he goes, and this is an appropriate question. How long do you think women want to be in the bedroom for?
Meaning
Intimately.
30 minutes.
Oh, fuck no!
Yes.
No!
How long?
Like 7 minutes.
Oh, wow. Even less. I thought I was going low.
No, this is the biggest misconception men have.
30's low, isn't it?
That is so long.
30 minutes is long?
So long.
Start to finish?
Yeah, the whole thing should be land that plan.
Yeah, teenagers, maybe they have more time.
Why do vibrators work so well and fast?
7 minutes.
Or less.
That's awesome.
I gave my head.
Oh man, so like I'm crushing it then with my 4 and 5 minutes.
I gave my husband a 7-minute challenge. I'm like, if you can do this in 7 minutes, we'll have
Stop the front
you will
door.
get so much more sex. Yes.
Is this really true?
Yes,
Yes.
because we get anxiety about the length of time, and I gotta go to tired. I want to go to sleep. If this is 40 minutes, it's 11 o'clock. If it's
Is that even vacation? Too? Even on vacation?
Well,
Vacation, you get longer.
I do get a bit
Okay.
drunk, so it's tricky because
Yeah.
then I'm all talk and then I pass out.
Pass
So
out.
it's got to be the right.
Oh my
And there's
God.
sexual curfews, like get in there before 10
I'm
o'clock.
way better at this shit than I know.
Oh God, yeah.
7 minutes is just slaying it.
Yeah, that is actually a long time. You're slated.
This is awesome.
What can you get done in 7 minutes?
That's my favorite fucking thing I've ever done in my life. I thought 30 was low. I was guessing low.
No. Moms everywhere are like 7 minutes.
I'm sorry. It took me almost 50 years of life to hit this. Where have you been?
Life lessons with Kat and Ad. I'm telling you, we're going to do a sex education book for men about what women really want.
7 minutes
7
max.
minutes.